with. You mentioned going in there in July. When the Nature Conservancy was thinking about purchasing it, they wanted to know that there was some community support. And so then Mayor Durwood Buck and
Yes.
some others organized a group, and some of the directors of the Nature Conservancy came down in the summer. And for months after that, every time I saw Mayor Buck, he reminded me about some chiggers that he'd come into, and I said, well, Mayor, you took one for the team.
There you go.
You promoted your community and did a good thing.
Okay, they're still active,
Yes.
and they still have tours.
That's right. There are tours in the fall and the spring. This October, Saturdays in October, are Saturday mornings, wedged in between hunting seasons. We have to be kind of careful when we go out there. But the Nature Conservancy has those Saturdays, and then in the spring, the ditto. And the contact person for those is L.A. Allen. She's the Georgia Outreach Administrator, and she can be reached at 404-253-7255, and so she'll give a green light on the tours and stuff. In addition to those Saturdays in the falls, other groups, civic groups, classes, science groups, environmental awareness organizations, contact them and get permission, and contact one of the local guides to take a look-see at the special things that are out of the rocks.
When I was out there, they started talking about indigo snakes, and I started watching where I stepped because it was July,
Yes.
but I never saw one. But I know in that area, Pridgeon and all of, even into Telfair County, there's a couple of places. I know there's one in Telfair County that is built around the indigo snake, just a sand pit.
Now that's beyond the
Right.
Broxton Rocks, but it's related to it. I don't know if you've heard of the Orion Society, but there's a man by the name of Thomas Kaplan who created, decided to use some of his net worth to protect the big tigers and lions of the world. And his organization's called Panthera. And they've literally invested lots of money all over the world. His school-age daughter came home one day and said, Daddy, you're doing all that for those big cats. Why don't you do something for that indigo snake? And he said, well, honey, tell me a little bit about it. And out of that came a huge financial investment in the Orion Society. The daughter's name was Orion.
Oh.
And it's really designed to protect the habitat that the indigo snake is. I heard one of your earlier guests was our park manager.
Right.
Of course, there's some wonderful gopher tortoise holes out at the state park, and indigo snakes. And so there's some of these little spots here that, the hope is that there'll be some little connection for this rare animal to be able to get from this spot
to the next.
this safe haven to that safe haven,
Yes.
and not too much worry about predation and such. But yeah, the indigo snakes are out at the Broxton Rocks, and the gopher tortoises, and a number of different animals call that spot home.
And spiders. I found a lot of spiders, big spiders.
Yes, and no matter what kind of plant or animal life you're interested in, there's somebody that finds some little niche at the Broxton Rocks and says, what a wonderful association. We've seen, like those greenfly orchids.
Yes.
We have beautiful orchids growing in the ground all over South Georgia. Well, these grow up on these rock crevices, and those greenfly orchids usually grow in like old ancient magnolia trees, in the shady spots. And here they grow on the
rock.
northern Broxton Rocks, and folks go, ooh, how nice is that?
And the temperature change.
Oh my.
From the top to when you're walking down there, even in July, you could tell a difference.
Yes, really can. I don't know just the height of the depot here, but it looks to me like the tallest of the crevices at the rocks would be about that tall.
I would think so.
2 or 3 times as tall as a person So those crevices, of course, shade in the cooling area. So
And then you got that overstory and all that too,
Right.
to dampen it.
And so that's part of the intrigue too, is you've sort of a flat area here, and then the drop off, and then this gradual seepage of water just takes care of a lot of plants like the resurrection fern that need that
it's
kind
gorgeous.
of thing. And
Gorgeous.
it's great.
Thank you, Jim. I
My
appreciate
pleasure.
you coming today.
What a treat. Thank you.
I love the rocks, and if you have time, you need to make sure you at least go on one trip to the Broxton Rocks.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Our next visitor is Ms. Ashby Nix, Attila Riverkeeper, and she's going to tell us all about the keepers.
Correct. So yes, Attila Riverkeeper is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We were started in 2004 by a board of directors and a riverkeeper, Gordon Rogers, back in 2004. And we've been around for about 11 years. And our mission is to protect, restore, and educate about the Attila River.
Wonderful. I know that you have some programs that you do with individuals and groups.
Exactly. So part of our mission, protect, restore, educate, involves a multitude of different programs. We do water quality monitoring across the watershed. The watershed is a really large watershed and does include Douglas. That's a large portion of the Attila watershed, which is about 4,000 square mile watershed. It's pretty large. It's an area, a watershed is the area that drains into the river. And so we conduct water quality monitoring across the basin. So we have particular points along the river that we go out monthly and monitor the waters. We test it for bacteria as well as a slew of other parameters to make sure it's healthy for wildlife, healthy for fishing, healthy for swimming. And we post some of those results on the Adopt a Stream website for the state, as well as on a nice little app for your phone called Swim Guide. So you can go on there and
Swim
check.
Guide. Gotcha,
Swim Guide. You can
gotcha.
check out what areas are okay for swimming for that month. And so we want to make sure that people are being safe and healthy when they're out there in the water.
And the Attila River starts where?
Yeah, the Attila River starts just east of Fitzgerald, and some tiny creeks and streams that run through there, comes through Douglas area. So you've got Hurricane Creek and all of the local rivers here, 17 Mile River, and that all drains into the main Attila River, which is down around 441 south of here, and that meanders about 260 miles. Very windy, sinuous river, lots of sandbars and beautiful dark-colored waters, all the way to the ocean in between Jekyll Island and Little Cumberland, where it's the Attila estuary. And that area is really important, just as important as the upper portions, because that's where all our shrimp and crabs and
All the
things
good
like
stuff.
that, yeah,
All the good
are
stuff.
produced. Definitely, definitely.
The board of directors you mentioned.
Yes.
How are they chosen and who are they?
Yeah, so we have a board of directors that kind of represent all areas of the Attila watershed. So the watershed covers about parts of 15 counties in southeast Georgia. And so we have right now we have 9 board of directors, one from every major county in the watershed. So Ware County, Coffee County, Brantley, Camden, other areas along the watershed. So, you know, our numbers of board of directors increases and decreases over time a little bit, and some have been with us for almost the full time since 11 years. So.
What about a volunteer program? Do you have volunteers?
Oh yeah, we have lots of great volunteers, and we depend actually on volunteers to help the nonprofit really survive. A couple of different ways that volunteers can get involved is we do these river cleanups every couple of times a year, and they're really great because we have trash problems on the river. Every little drainage ditch that you see on the highway eventually ends up draining into the Attila River. So especially after big rains or floods or anything like that, we just get this big wash of trash oftentimes that heads to the river, and sometimes it gets stuck in there in some of the snags and deadfalls there. So we try to get people out there once or twice a year This year, we have a really big cleanup coming up on November 14th. It's a Saturday. We have at least 5 or 6 sites picked out along the Attila River. One will actually be here in Coffee County and in the city of Douglas.
Okay.
And we can get some more information to volunteers on where exactly that will be.
Okay.
But we'll start at 9 o'clock, get volunteers to these various stations all the way down to the coast, and spend about 3 hours cleaning up these particular spots that are bad for trash.
Right.
We have all kinds of sponsors for this event. We even have a free lunch and free t-shirts at Highway 121 after the cleanup. So we invite everyone to kind of, do a couple of hours of community service, make their river cleaner and their environments cleaner, and then come join us for a little celebration afterwards.
I went to one time,
Oh, yeah.
several years ago.
Yeah.
And there were some people in boats and then some people on the side, on the land.
Yeah, exactly. So we depend on people to do what they feel most comfortable with. If it's a family with children, we often tell them, okay, well, stay on the banks or at the
Right.
public access sites because that's what they're most comfortable picking up trash at. Others that have boats or kayaks, they want to be a little more adventurous and they might venture out into the waterway because the trash doesn't just stop at the landing.
It
It goes
goes.
everywhere. So, we'll have areas downstream that, we let people kind of pick what they are most comfortable with because there's plenty of trash to go around and plenty of opportunities for people to fill in and take part in a way that they feel most comfortable.
Tell me a little about you. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
you're from the coast of Georgia.
Yep.
Before this. so-
Yeah. So I've been on the coast for over 10 years. My parents are from Brunswick and Jessup. Big nature lovers. We were coming here for a long time when I was a kid. My grandparents are from Brunswick area. And so we came down here a lot. We camped a lot. We went on the rivers a lot. Spent a lot of time on the beaches and things like that. And I just really fell in love with the beautiful river environments, beautiful coastline, and I wanted to take more of an active role in protecting that wildlife, the plants, the water, and all of that sort of thing. So I did environmental science in undergraduate school in Macon at Mercer University. I graduated in 2006 there. Spent a couple of years working in Brunswick at Marine Extension Service,
Yes.
doing oyster reef restoration and water quality monitoring. So that's kind of where I started to learn these techniques of how you can protect the environment and protect your properties and clean water. And then I went off to grad school, got my master's degree at LSU in wetland sciences and environmental science. It's a beautiful place over there, mecca of wetlands. I loved it. But I wanted to come back home to where I felt like I could make a difference and really wrap my head around the issues that were going on and make an impact there. So that's why I came back, and that's why I wanted to take this job.
We're so glad to have you.
Yeah,
And like
thank
somebody
you.
with enthusiasm.
Yeah, thanks.
So if they want to help on November the 14th, how do they make a contact?
Yeah, so they can simply get on our Facebook page. We have an event on our Facebook page that we're posting all kinds of information about it. We can get on our website. We have a calendar on there of all different kinds of events, not just the river cleanup coming up, but we also have a quarterly paddle that will happen December
Yes.
December 12th, and that's great because we want to provide the opportunity for anyone to get on the water. So we take people out once a quarter. We have kayaks they can borrow and everything. We just want to get people out there because once people experience the river, they want to take some action protecting it because it's really a special place.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ashby. I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
coming today.
Thank you, Miss Carol.
We'll be right back.
WDTV 13. Programming is sponsored by
Harper & Company Builders, serving Douglas and Coffee County for 29 years. And a proud sponsor of community programming. Storage Solutions, etc., locally owned and operated and located at 1010 Bowens Mill Road, Southeast in Douglas. American Truck Parts Incorporated, a proud sponsor of WDTV 13 programming. Vickers Audio and Glass Tinting, supporting our local programming on WDTV 13.
Aiden's Minute Market. When you're out, we're in.
Roscoe Allen Jr. and Gubas Modular Buildings in Ocilla, Georgia. We proudly support local programming on WDTV 13.
McCrary Daniels Insurance Agency.
Fletcher Oil Company, since 1966 has been supporting local activities and a proud sponsor of community programming on WDTV 13.